What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and Everton have beaten. Let's just go back a bit. Oh, yeah. Everton have beaten Brighton 2-0 at the first game at the Hill Dickinson Bramley Stadium. Look, the performance was a 7.5 out of 10. I could have given it an 8. It was a good performance. There's no doubt about it. A couple of areas, scary moments, which we'll go on to just briefly in a second. The fans were a million out of 10. Like we were so good. The atmosphere was so good. The fans were up for it. It was such a good day. And you know, you think about it. This is such a big thing for Everton Football Club. You know, new stadium, new atmosphere, new fans, new memories, new everything. And it already felt like home. You know, it didn't feel like, you know, when West Ham went into the Olympic Stadium, or even Arsenal went into the Emirates. Bramley felt like home straight away. It gave me a similar feeling to Goodison pretty much straight away. And to be able to do that, I think it says a lot about us and how we've managed to do that so quickly. You know, Bramley has been, let's be realistic, it's been up and down in so many ways in terms of the transport and getting in there and the logistics of it. But for those 97 minutes today, Bramley was fortress. And look, you know, by all accounts, Brighton offered very little today. I thought they were poor. I thought, bearing in mind, Brighton are meant to be just the fans right next to us there. Love that. Bearing in mind, Brentford, Brighton are meant to be a good team, European aspirations. I thought they were poor. I thought they were disappointing today, to be honest. I don't think they really laid too much of a glove on Everton. I don't think they had to lay too much of a glove on Everton because I didn't think they had the capability to do so. They're fighting next to the car. I mean, honestly, just left hook, right hook. What's he doing here? Let's see. Can we get a bit here? What's going on? But irrespective of that, Everton just didn't let them have the ball too much. And when we did let them have the ball, we had numbers back. There was one moment in the first half which was a monumental mistake. We'd gone 1-0 up, but fundamentally, Tarkowski had passed the ball backwards straight to, I think it's Danny Welbeck, and Jordan Pickford makes a monumental save to keep Everton at 1-1. But before that, let's talk about the goal. Ball comes over to the left-hand side. It's a lovely ball by Jack Grealish, and Lilliman Ndiaye is there on the end. A volley straight into the goal. Really ferocious cross, ferocious finish, and that makes it Everton 1-0. And there was other chances, you know, we'd had a couple of free kicks, there was a couple of headers that went over the bar, but it was a good, solid performance. Good people at the back. Strong defensively. There was a couple of times Minter got him, but his pace is always going to be a problem. And he looks a real handful, by the way, Minter. It's funny enough, they could have done with someone like Evan Ferguson today, who seems to be ripping it up at Roma. But you know, it was a really, really, really decent-ish performance by Brighton, but we just didn't let them do anything to us. We were so much better in most areas than them today. And then the second goal was just a thing of beauty, really. Again, ball comes out to James Garner on the edge of the box, and he absolutely arrows it. Finn, what does he do?
Arrows it.
There we go. He arrows it into the bottom corner to make it 2-0, and it was a phenomenal finish. It was a sensational finish. And we know he's got that in the locker. He was better at left back today than he was at Leeds. I didn't think he was bad at Leeds, but he was decent today. But all in all, that was an Everton performance that was worthy of, you know, a first win at Bramley, etc. And then to top it off, they get a penalty. I don't know. I haven't seen it back. Based on Everton giving 2 penalties away in 2 weeks. I mean, that's ridiculous. But look, it was a penalty, and Jordan Pickford saves it. He goes exactly the same way he did against Leeds. He almost saved that one, and he did save the one today. Kept Everton in. Clean sheet. First clean sheet of the season. Decent performance. It's so nice to come out of there, first game of the season at the new stadium with that win. Like, it felt crucial. And look, we'll talk more about it in the debrief, because there's going to be loads of people that are going to be talking about Jack Grealish and Kieran Dewsbury-Hall and Tim Ibrahim and all those players. But fundamentally, there was a lot of good performances. Dewsbury-Hall, I think, gave the ball away a little bit too much for me today, but he was willing to put a tackle in. Tim Ibrahim, I'm just going to say Tim. That was arguably one of his best performances in an Everton shirt today. He physically looked stronger, he looks capable, he was getting shots off, he was getting tackles in. He did have a few moments where there were sloppy passes, but fundamentally he was in front of everything. I was really happy with Tim today. Garner looked like his usual best self, so that was a positive. But yeah, look, from an Everton perspective today, buzzing, absolutely buzzing, and we've just got to keep going. We've just got to keep going. We've got winnable games coming up based on what I've seen so far. You know, I've seen a poor Wolves team. We've got Mansfield in the cup. There's Dibbling to come in. And Jai looked really good on the right hand side today at times. He did sometimes occasionally do a bit too much, but you know, he'd scored a goal, he was up for it, and that's fine. Jack Grealish at the end, he did his, and I have seen this since. He did his, the post-match thing, and he's sitting in front of everyone, and he's standing there talking about the game, and it almost sounded like he started to get upset. And it sounds really weird, but that meant a lot. It meant a lot that he played 89 minutes or whatever it was today, and it meant a lot to him. The Everton fans are definitely falling in love with Jack Grealish. And that's, if we didn't love him already, we're definitely there now. Jack Grealish is somebody that he's coming to Everton Football Club and he's embraced everything that there is to be a Blue. I honestly, today, watching Jack Grealish start on the left-hand side and Jai on the right, you got Kieran Dewsbury-Hall in the middle, Tim and Garner. It looked relatively level, you know, relatively compact, relatively solid. There was a few times when they got in behind. Of course they did. You know, they are Brighton, they are decent players, and they are gonna... I'm shutting the window so I don't get stung. But it was good. It was just a good, solid performance, a well-deserved 3 points, and we go again. We go again. Wolves next week is a game that Everton can win. Villa in 2 weeks' time, or whenever it is arguably a game that Everton can also win based on what we've seen so far. So, you know, Everton could start the season relatively well, albeit the performance at Leeds was an absolute stinker. So, yeah, look, all in all, happy, buzzing, we crack on, we go again. Make sure you tune in to the debrief, and we will see you soon. Up the toffees. Peace.